This is Kevin O'Brien. I'm in London today with Leonhard Fischer, an experienced German banker who spent many years in London and in Frankfurt. Mr. Fischer, you're kind of an interesting banker. You're German, but you initially favored a Brexit, and you were against the creation of the euro. In 2 days, Britain will vote. What do you want to see happen?
Well, let's just pass on the vote. What I want to see happen is that whatever the outcome on Thursday night, we wake up Friday morning accepting that we need a renegotiation of the Europe we live in. And that renegotiation has to happen because the euro can only survive if the euro countries integrate further. But many other countries, non-euro countries, don't want to integrate further, like Britain. So we have to find a solution which allows countries like Britain and others, not only Britain, to stay part of the common market, stay part of the idea of free market for labor, capital, and goods, but at the same time not be forced to be dragged into the integration process. This is inevitable for the euro members, at least for those who want to keep the euro alive.
Do you think it's possible to create a two-track euro, so to speak? Do you think there's the political will to allow for the flexibility to go at your own speed?
Look, that's a very hard question to ask me. My answer to it is very simple. If there is not the political will for it, Europe will fail, full stop.
Has the European Union evolved into something that its original signees did not intend?
Well, that depends on who you ask among those that signed, because many intended the European Union as a step towards the United States of Europe. But others, like Britain, joined without the intention of being part of the United States of Europe. That happens when you have these kind of relationships without being honest with one another from the start. But it's time at least to be honest now. And to be honest with one another means that we put our cards on the table and we accept that we have different interests. Germany, France, Italy, Spain, their primary interest is to secure that the euro survives, because the consequences of that failure would really be dire. The interest of Britain is that it would like to stay in the common market, but does not want to be part of the integration process. Now, and Britain is not alone. There are other European countries that have the same position. So we must have this flexibility, because then we keep the idea of Europe alive. Europe was not created with the forced necessity to become a United States, and those who were not excited by it to be punished and thrown out of the door.
Key to the solution is, what does Germany want? What does Germany want? And is Germany, in your opinion, willing to change to save the euro?
If I be a little bit provocative, what Germany wants most at the moment, it seems to be, is their money back in real terms. That's why they're spending so much time renegotiating with everyone in the south about their net creditor position. I think that Germany, as an export-driven nation with 8.5% current account surplus of GDP, is totally dependent on a peaceful, free, happy, open, integrated European market. And that it therefore will always fight, even if there's a Brexit, to secure that the British will get a deal afterwards that keep them in this. And I secondly think that Germany wants, because it knows there is no other solution for the internal inconsistencies of the euro, that the euro survival will require a process of integration with some of the key other euro countries, which the others can settle out and join or not. I do think that's fairly much without alternative. It's very hard to say what the Germans want, because we are many and we have diverging opinions, thankfully.
But certainly it sounds like the disaster scenarios being painted about a post-Brexit Europe, or even a post-Remain Europe, probably exaggerated. Economic interests will require Germany, Britain to come to terms relatively quickly in a non-disruptive way to keep the music going.
Well, I think that the forefathers of the European integration process, whatever their idealistic motives might have been, which I can only speculate about, were smart enough to understand one thing: create as much interdependency as you can just achieve between two countries, and they at the end of the day have to sit at a table and find a compromise. And I think that will ultimately avoid a disaster. But I be frank with you, a year ago I've always argued for Brexit and said to my English friends, vote Brexit, Germans will blink. Today the emotional situation in Europe is so unpredictable that I'm a little bit scared myself.
Mr. Fischer, thanks very much for your time today.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
This is Kevin O'Brien in Berlin. I've been with Leonhard Fischer, an experienced German banker and a part-time resident here in London. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.